kicking off with yesterday and today's first reading, St. Paul talks about giving, and our Lord, of course, in the Gospel talks about it. But this last year, giving in the United States, personal giving dropped considerably. And so we can thank the Republicans for that. Right? Oh, isn't that terrible when you say that from the pulpit? How many of you took off your giving on your taxes? Yeah, you didn't get to do that this year, didn't you? So that's what happened. But on the other side, corporate giving went up. So it balances out, right? So if you don't give, Chevron gave, right? We hope. Several years ago, when we had I mentioned it yesterday, our Faith, Family, and Future, our fundraiser, the concern was it was done in 2005, and it was just 2 years after the charter that the bishops introduced for protection of children. And of course, in 2003, the state of California put into law both a criminal, the end of criminal statute of limitation as well as civil. The criminal one was eventually ruled unconstitutional, but the civil one remained. And if you take the dioceses of Southern California alone, there was some $878 million just out of Los Angeles. And then you add the other dioceses of Orange, San Diego, San Bernardino, and San Diego. It really was high. There was quite a bit of money that went out for victims. Half of it was covered by insurance, and which has ended, of course. This year, our diocese joined the Southern Diocese in Sacramento to bring a fund together, a compensation fund, so that persons who sue the church or not even sue, don't go that process, but bring a accusation can be compensated from a fund that is jointly brought together by the diocese. And that's going to help tremendously. But one of the realities, of course, is that in order to do that, many people will say, well, I'm not going to give any money to the church because I don't want to go for that. In reality, that seldom is true. That's usually people talking. I'm not going to give any money. They never gave any money to start with, usually. But those who still give are interesting, because in 2005, 2 years after the tremendous outcry on molestation, this diocese brought together a tremendous amount of money from mainly 20 parishes. We have 80 parishes, but 20 of them really did come forth. And it was a surprise. And when we would talk about it as priests, as pastors, we were always amazed that it gave people the opportunity to express their love for the church. We don't think about it done financially. It was done very quietly. Most people never got any recognition because most of it came in very small amounts. And it was a 5-year pledge, so it wasn't as difficult as perhaps some major giving. But it gave to us as priests, and especially as pastors, a renewal of our own faith, not just in our Lord and our faith, but in our people as well. And so it was a time of great renewal of our own faith among the pastors who were really part of that. And I give thanks to my parishioners to this day for making that donation. The little parish of Our Lady of Perpetual Help donated almost $2 million. Now the bishop got half of it. So they said, well, we weren't going to give it to the bishop. Well, we bought the retreat house in Three Rivers. That was a major thing. It also went to, and still is, helping parishes in 4 areas do major repairs on their facilities. And so if you go around and tile roofs being taken off of churches, that's all being funded by our Faith, Family, and Future, the renew of it. Because these churches were all built back right after the Second World War, and now they're beginning to show wear and tear. And those parishes, the parishioners, normally don't have that kind of funds. And of course, our schools were supported, and our priest retirement fund as well. And so it gave a tremendous, and what was nice about it is that we didn't have to do any work. The diocese did it all. They sent the man down that kind of worked with us, worked with our committees. We called him the suit because he wore a suit in August. At every meeting he had a suit on. We don't even know what his first name was, but we called him the suit. But he was a person, and I remember he said, people can only say no. If you ask for something, they can only say no, that's their right. But inevitably, those same persons will find another way of giving. And we found that to be true. Our Sunday collections stayed right where they were. This was all extra, and that was really good. And a few of the farmers who had been upset with the bishops for years found their way of giving as well. And we were all the beneficiaries of it. So in today's gospel, our Lord says, don't blow a trumpet. So when you put that dollar in the collection, it's more than $1, right? I remember telling my mother as she was putting $1 in the Sunday envelope, Mom, you've been giving $1 since I entered the seminary. She said, I give $5 at Christmas. I said, but, things have changed. And her response was, I gave you.
One more.
I never said another word.
Amen.
Today I ask that you remember a classmate of Monsignor Sweat and me, Bishop Steve Blair. He passed away yesterday morning. He entered hospice about a week before, and he was fighting an infection that went through all his system and eventually was fatal. Steve was sat next to me for 6 years in the seminary. We were alphabetically placed because the professors down at St. John's Seminary, they were so dumb they didn't know who we were unless we were alphabetically. And so we sat next to each other, and I would look over to see what he answered, and he would look at me and say, I answered wrong. And that's not true. He's very smart. He became a principal of Alameda High School, another high school in Los Angeles, was selected by Bishop Mahoney to be an auxiliary bishop, became the vicar general for Los Angeles, and then eventually the bishop of Stockton. And Stockton was very, very heavily hit by the lawsuits, and he took the diocese, the only diocese in California, into bankruptcy to protect the churches. And he was proud to say that he only owned one thing. The diocese only owned one thing, and that was his house. Everything else that was belonged to the parishes and the churches. And anyway, he retired a year ago, was replaced by our former Vicar General, Monsignor as bishop. And unfortunately, he was not able to enjoy much of a retirement. So please remember him in your prayers as we offer this Mass. And I know all of you have your own intentions. May the Lord respond to them, we pray, through Christ our Lord. Amen.